It's Beat the Champ, presented by Storm from Central Lanes in Salamanca, New York. Our first 2 weeks have given us a great introduction to a bright young bowler named Zander Koppenhaver. He's our returning champion. These are the guys that are going to try to knock him off. Randy Sherman, Jerry Lewandowski, and Dylon Ingersoll. Hi, everybody. Welcome to New York Southern Tier. I'm Paul Peck with Buffalo Hall of Fame bowler Nawojski. We have been very impressed with young 22-year-old Zander. What has jumped out at you as we have watched him win for 2 straight weeks?
Well, besides his composure, which I think might be the secret to why this is so successful, he gets to sit on the sidelines and have to wait for these bowlers who are getting a first-hand experience on the lanes. He has to wait and then jump in after they've been on the lanes already, and then try to figure them out.
All right, well, no more waiting. We're going to jump Zander in right here. Your first week, you got to win 2 matches before the championship. Second week, you had to sit and watch. How difficult was that? What did you learn about that?
So, of course, sitting and waiting for anything is hard to watch, but it also can educate you by seeing what's going on out here and how I'd want to play when I start again.
Have you tried to lock yourself into that 10-pin and see if you can't get it to fall a little today?
Yeah, I think that was on me a little bit. Maybe wrong ball choice, maybe something a little bit more angle down lane. Just my fault. But.
All right, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the 10-pin. It has been pesky is the best way to say it. We'll see if this guy can figure it all out. We are ready to get going. Week number 3 here in Salamanca, New York. Let's get rolling. Beat the Champ is sponsored by Storm, the Bowlers Company, and by Latina Boulevard Foods, your favorite family in food distribution. Jerry Lewandowski Jr. and Randy Sherman gets us started here at Central Lanes in Salamanca, New York. A couple of Beat the Champ first-timers getting to debut here on our show, and dealing with all that goes into that is a bit of a challenge. And Randy Sherman, not wasting any time, let's go. And let's go with a first strike from Randy Sherman, 34 years old from Bradford, Pennsylvania.
We'll analyze his equipment when he's up next.
It won't take us long. That's a hint about that. So, Jerry Lewandowski Jr., 60 years old from West Seneca, New York.
Our first lefty in a while since the first show.
Yeah.
But that was more of a right-handed hit. Hit the 1-3 pocket.
Yeah, Jerry, I asked Jerry, I said, what brought you down here for this show? And he said, oh, my league buddies all decided we wanted to come down, so we all piled in the car together, came down here, and he's the only one that made the show.
And where are they now?
Yeah, none of them are here cheering him on. So
that would have been part of my deal.
You know, and again, if you're a bowler out there and you're like, hey, I think I might want to see what I can't do to make this show, like, give it a shot.
No, but it's a great idea to bring your whole team down with you, because, you know, you can make it a little road trip for you and your buddies. He's going a little high here. He's still maybe a little nervous.
Yeah, you know, we'll get a better look at Jerry when we cycles back around, because I want to ask you, like, his form is different, right? You know, just kind of like sort of the one-armed approach
well,
here.
He's a little, just, you know, a little bit stiff. Plus, he's a tall man, so it's a long way between his arm swing and the floor. I mean, if you don't have deep knee bend,
it's
gonna look stiff.
That left arm is kind of hanging out there when he throws a shot. All right, so here we go back to Randy. Now, Randy has an interesting backstory. He is a guy who has spent a good part of his life around bowling centers. Worked at Billy Lane's down in Bradford, Pennsylvania, which is only about a half an hour or so from here. Hasn't bowled in 3 years. Literally had to borrow the shoes and the ball to qualify for this show.
That's right. So as much time as we spend talking about technology, this gentleman is using somebody else's bowling ball, the only ball he has, so he doesn't have anything else to go to. And
it's a great case study, right? We talk so much about changing balls, when to change them, what to do. This guy's going, you know what, I got one ball and I am going for it.
And you know what I have to say, when you bowl a 3-game qualifier, and he bowled 6 games. I mean, he bowled the 3-game qualifier. He had to come back and make the finals and score well in the final. But great shot there. This is a different animal under these lights in this atmosphere.
Third frame now for Jerry Lewandowski Jr., 60 years old from West Seneca, 239 average right now in the 2 leagues that he bowls in. And there you go. So both guys have strike, open, strike in the first 3 frames.
Jerry has 2 extra pins on count. Very nice rotation on the ball. He does have a lot of loft. He gets it on the lane, which is really an advantage on wood lanes because, as we've talked about, the fronts are the first to go. So as much as you can negate at the front of the lane, the better off you are.
Yeah, so these are real wood lanes, which is getting more and more rare in the bowling world that we all live in. Real wood lanes here at Central Lanes, and that has been a talking point for us a lot through the first 2 shows because bowlers don't see them very often. They react very differently than the synthetic lanes, and the bowlers that have adapted to that the best have been the ones that have been successful.
I mean, yeah, and people are going to face wood lanes in tournaments and stuff like that. You can't really get away from them, but you definitely have to have a different game plan for them because, like I said, the front of the lane is a completely different animal. I mean, on a synthetic lane, ball's going to squirt right through the front of the lane. Wood lane, it's going to start to hook early, so you have to adjust accordingly, according to your game.
And Randy gets another strike in the 4th frame. He's had 3 career 300 games, a high of 798 series.
Which honestly, for the bowlers that we see on the show, that's a little bit lower. We normally have 800s. I mean, 796, just a little bit short. And of course, he hasn't bowled in 3 years. And
yeah, and that's directly related to his occupation, which he is the owner and operator of his own HVAC business. And I can tell you that my dad was in that business, and when somebody calls and they don't have heat at 8 o'clock at night and you're at the bowling center, you drop it and you go because that's what your business is. And that's basically what Randy told us is why he doesn't bowl as much anymore.
True, I'm sure that's very emergency based. This can be slid over. This is makeable.
Well, so now that's 2 opens on the front side, 5 frames for Randy Sherman. And both of them are 8s, and again, little pin count issue that potentially has some play in things.
Sure. Well, on a double, your first ball on the next shot definitely plays a part.
I don't think Randy liked it. Jerry didn't like it, and maybe that's why he didn't like it. So, employed full-time by the 3M Corporation, bowls in a couple of leagues every week. He's had 26 career 300s and 11 800 series with a high of 848.
And he does bowl in his area at a wood bowling center, so this is not foreign to him.
And we keep matching opens.
Well, nobody's run away from anybody, that's for sure.
Both guys have had opens in the 2nd and the 5th. The only difference on their score sheets right now is a strike in the 4th for Randy and a spare in the 4th for Jerry. And there's a strike in the 5th, for the 6th rather, for Jerry Lewandowski. We're off and rolling. Week number 3 at Central Lanes in Salamanca, New York. It's Beat the Champ, presented by Storm.
From the most humble of beginnings to the pinnacle, dreams can come true. Through hard work, demanding excellence, and conquering challenges, there will be celebrations, along with the unending quest for innovation. Nothing is impossible. Storm.
XXX Tech Bowling Supplies is committed to continuing the decades-long tradition of excellence established by the DeSanto family. We are the ultimate destination for customer service, experience, and product variety. We offer an extensive inventory of balls, bags, shoes, and accessories. Our unique fitting and drilling process, combined with our in-house lane, ensures a perfect fit every time. With a range of repair and maintenance services, we can help keep your gear performing at its best. Consult our team today at 1000 Highland Drive in the J. Scuddy South Plaza, conveniently located off of 390 in Henrietta.
Welcome back to Salamanca, New York. We're about 60 miles south of the city of Buffalo, just a little bit north of the New York-Pennsylvania state line. Good crowd on hand here. We're talking a lot about the wood lanes here, and there's a pretty good look at them, Sue.
Right, and you can see just behind the arrows, it's all pretty much the same color, but once you get past the arrows, you can see the dark boards that we were talking about, and they're very spaced out. So those dark boards will create a little bit more skid. They're harder than the lighter boards. The lighter boards are softer. So they will wreak havoc on people's ball reaction, and something to think about when you're reading the lanes.
And that is just sort of the natural grain and aging of different woods in different places, and it didn't seem to bother Randy Sherman.
Just different grains of wood, which was a thing back when it was wood. Now when they use the plastic lanes, it's made to look like wood, made to look like real wood, but you can't mistake the characteristics.
There's
of
no
true
difference
wood.
in the grain or anything like
Right.
that. So, yeah, again, just another one of those quirky little characteristics here at Central Lanes. And again, we've seen a lot through the first two shows of guys struggling to read how they're going to react, just not used to them. And it's funny, we were joking with Zander Koppenhaver about he had all kinds of trouble with the 10-pin in his last match, but we come to find out from people that bowl here regularly, it's like everybody has trouble with the 10-pin.
Right, and I think it's because you have to open the lanes up so much that you've got a big swing in the back. So the ball's arcing quite a bit in the back of the lane, and that angle just creates a ring 10-pin.
Seventh frame now for Jerry Lewandowski. And that one took a hard right turn.
They are hooking. He's come high more than he hasn't. So whether it was a ball choice or whether he should switch or move his feet, everything has pretty much hooked up high for him. But you're bowling against a guy that doesn't even have his own bowling ball, really. All you got to do is make your spares, which has been a struggle.
He did not make his spares, so that's the third open of the match now for Jerry Lewandowski, and that kind of shake of the head tells you the frustration that he's having with, the easy stuff, right? Well, it's supposed to be the easy stuff. Well, a good bounce back with a strike in the eighth frame for Jerry. Yeah, I mean, again,
not exactly what he was looking for to go high or left to miss his target again.
Yeah. How often do we talk? We spend a lot of time because it's important talking about the equipment and the ball changes and the urethane and all that other stuff. And here's a guy, he might not even know what this ball is. It's not his. He didn't buy it.
Well, he made the finals with it. It's the same ball.
Yeah. But I just find the contrast in that to be very funny, that we spend so much time talking about it, and Randy's like, whatever. I'm borrowing it, and I'm using it, and this is the only one I got.
Well, this is going to come down to who makes the most spares.
This is a big one right here. And that's a good pickup in the eighth frame for Randy Sherman.
And you could see how much he arced that to prepare for the back end hook. Traditionally you would have thought he was going to miss that to the right, but they are pretty sharply hooking in the back.
We talked to Randy about, this is his first opportunity to bowl on a television setting like this, and I said, is that something that you've thought that you have to adapt to? And he said, I've bowled 300 games, he goes, and when you were coming down the stretch of those 300 games, you knew all eyes in the bowling center were on you. He goes, I feel like that's the same dynamic. And I said, you're probably right about that.
Yep, that's true. I mean, all eyes are on you. The question is, do the lights affect you in any way? I mean, it is quite bright, but he's got a pretty good attitude about it.
He has the exact kind of attitude that you would expect from a guy who hasn't bowled in 3 years, doesn't have his own bowling shoes or bowling ball, who just decided because he might have had nothing better to do that day. It's like, I'll go give it a shot.
Yep.
I'll qualify. We'll see what happens.
I agree with you.
And winds up making the show.
I agree with you 100%. I think his expectations are not over the top.
That was, you didn't see all of it, but that was a slow motion strike for Jerry Lewandowski. He needed it too.
That was a lucky break, I'm sure. I couldn't see it either, but I know the ball was heading for the right side of the head pin, which isn't what he's aiming for, or maybe he is. But that was enough to tie this game up, and another good ball here could put him ahead.
And it is another good ball.
It was another good break.
Hey,
He is.
doesn't matter how.
I don't think he's aiming for that side of the pocket, but he's hit it more than he hasn't. So I can't say for sure.
Little hop there at the end.
No, he's
he
not.
Didn't, he
He's
didn't
not.
like it, and then he loved it.
Now's the time to make a big move.
When are all you bowlers going to learn to wait
There
and
you
see
go.
what happens before you react? Well, he didn't need to wait on that one.
So he did try to move his feet right on that, and he got less hook, but he is not lined up at all.
Well, he's got to get this picket fence of 247 to keep himself in contention to win. And he does. Nicely done. Jerry Lewandowski puts a 180 on the scoreboard and now turns it over to Randy Sherman.
Randy needs a double here.
2 strikes and 7 pins to win for Randy Sherman. So I thought that 7 was going to get bumped. So that means Jerry Lewandowski, even with a 180, is going to be our winner here in the first match. And Jerry doesn't look super happy, but win is a win.
Well, Jerry's going to get another chance to practice on this pair and try a different ball and try a different line.
180 to 162. Jerry Lewandowski moves on. Match number 2, Jerry against Dylon Ingersoll. Coming up next from Salamanca, beat the champ. Jerry Lewandowski Jr. and Dylon Ingersoll is match number 2, and Dylon Ingersoll going to get us started here, just 18 years old from right here in Salamanca, hometown kid who bowls 2 nights a week in leagues here at Central Lanes. Is the home lane advantage going to be the key point of this match?
Well, he should be comfortable. Oh, there's your true tap 9-pin.
Yeah, a little smile on the face of Dylon, like, okay, could have been worse, could have been better.
That's right, exactly. He got a good shot off. Again, you can watch that ball just miss
Right by
taking
it.
out the 9. Fairly routine spare.
And he's got it. And now we flip it over to Jerry, who I'm sure, well, is happy, but probably hasn't won a whole lot of matches with a 180 in his outstanding bowling career. So you take them when you can get them. But that was the final score in the win over Randy Sherman, 180 to 162. And Jerry had, how about this, Sue? In all of our show here, that might be the first time that anybody had 3 open frames and won a match.
That's true. We talk about the importance of making your spares, but he did have to throw 3 strikes at the end just to eke that match out. But yes.
Ended with strikes in the 8th, 9th, and 10th frame, and that was what got him just enough pins to win. So again, that can either be a sign that he's still struggling and is going to have a hard time winning, or like, man, I'm playing with house money after that win.
Jerry changed balls here. He's using a ball that goes straighter, goes longer down the lane. As you can see, he's actually getting it down the lane and it's making its move much later on the lane than it was.
So what do you think cued him from that first match to decide to play something straighter like that?
Going Brooklyn most of the time.
Right. Okay.
And he was obviously just too nervous to make a big change balls mid-match, and he wasn't behind by a lot. So his opponent wasn't really pressing him to have to do anything critical. So in between games, I pretty much knew he'd come up with something different.
All right. That's a rather difficult leave there for Dylon Ingersoll in frame number 2. What do you do with that one?
Just try to hit the 2 into the other 2 pins into the 6-10. Pretty close. Close
enough, but it's going to be an open and an 8-pin total in frame number 2 for the 18-year-old from here in Salamanca. Photographer is the profession. 3 leagues a week. 2 of them are here. He's got 1 career 300 game and a career high 747 series. Bowled for the Salamanca High School Warriors high school bowling team and won a Class C New York State High School Championship as part of that team. And this is the home bowling center for both Ellicottville and Salamanca high schools.
That's very cool.
There's our first 10-pin. Keep track of how many 10 pins get held up here.
Well, they say they leave a lot of them here, so they should be very good at making them.
Well, that's a good point. As much as we talk about why do they never go down here, you're like, you should be used to that. And that's going to be a second straight open for Dylon Ingersoll.
And, I want to mention that on wood lanes and synthetic lanes, making a 10-pin is very, very different. On wood lanes, it very much picks up, and you have to be much more direct to the pin. And on synthetic lanes, the ball just sprays, so you have to cut it a lot shorter. So it's very different. Now we get to see one on the other side.
7-pin, right. I'm not sure that there's as much a reputation for the 7-pin here, but don't ask Jerry about that.
Well, that's his 10-pin because he's left-handed.
Sure.
So.
And he misses the corner pin spare.
Right. I mean, that's why I always recommend a spare ball. I mean, I probably would never make a corner pin without a plastic ball to shoot my spares at, especially my 10 pins. When you're trying
what does the plastic ball do that allows
it just
that?
It goes straight.
It's a straight ball.
So you're not going to have to negotiate whether the lanes are dry or hooking, or you just throw it right at it.
And there we go. We'll find out again if Jerry can solve that problem.
And he's when Jerry shot that 7-pin, he was using just his regular ball, so you have to negotiate a little bit of hook from the ball. So you try to overcompensate, and oftentimes you throw it in the gutter.
Much better this time. There's the spare pickup. Jerry learned his lesson from the last time. All right, so now Dylon's got to find some groove here. So interesting thing about Dylon, we talk so much, and we certainly will with Zander Koppenhaver in our next match. He's a youngster that made the reverse switch, which was he started bowling 2 hands. He told me Jason Belmonte is absolutely my favorite bowler, but he switched back to the one-handed traditional style.
Yeah,
that's unusual.
You really never hear that. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, he said it was at the urging of his dad, who we will see on next week's show, by the way, as part of the Central Lanes League Bowlers show next week. Dwayne Ingersoll will be on that show with a outside chance that he'll bowl against Dylon, depending on how things fall. But, yeah, very unusual, particularly with a young 18-year-old. I'm sure you'll tell me 80% of anybody under 20 is bowling 2-handed, if not 90%.
I don't know. I don't know if it's that much. Certainly, the guys. I don't think we have too many female 2-handers yet. I know that there's a couple, but for the most part, it's the boys that are attracted to the 2-handed, and it is a lot because of Belmonte. And now there's quite a few out there that out on tour that throw it 2-handed. But I still think that. If you bowl nationally and you see how many 2-handers there really are, that encourages like the higher echelon of bowler to take it to the next level, they think they need to be two-handed.
Yeah, and that's exactly why Zander Koppenhaver actually made that switch the other way, and we'll certainly talk a little more about that when his match comes up next. 3 in a row on that now pesky 7-pin for Jerry Lewandowski Jr.
I think his carry was a heck of a lot better when he was missing Brooklyn.
Yeah, I don't remember this many 7-pins from the first match.
No, because he was crossing over. Good spare.
But that's 2 in a row. After he missed the 7 in the third frame, he's made it in the 4th and the 5th.
Up 23 pins, halfway through.
We asked Jerry what one of the things he's most proud of in his bowling career, and he said averaging 240 2 years in a row.
That is a big number.
It is a big
That's
number.
a lot of strikes.
Oh, do we have a sleeper situation coming up here?
That's right. We have a sleeper situation, double wood.
Double wood. I'm working on my lingo here. You beat me to it. You beat me to it with the double wood.
I should have let you do it.
Nah, that's okay. Good chance I would have gotten them mixed up with some other crazy bowling terminology.
The challenge is you have to hit this head on to take the back pin out.
And he does. Good job on a spare in the 6th frame for Jerry Lewandowski. Who's going to bowl for our championship against our 2-time champ? We'll find out next.
The Western New York area has long been considered one of the best anywhere for the sport of bowling.
And no matter where you live, we have lanes nearby.
For top competition,
Fun with family and friends,
great food and drink, or just a night out, we got you.
we are
The bowling proprietors.
of Western New York.
Stop in and enjoy our sport today.
I'm Paul Peck.
And I'm Sue Nawojski. We want to see you out here bowling for the top spot on Beat the Champ.
So get to any of our great host centers and get the details on how you can be a part of the show and be our next winner.
And don't miss any of the action here on MSG every week.
Yeah, so check out the show next week or get out there and qualify and be our Beat the Champ winner. Well, Dylon Ingersoll put the pressure on Jerry Lewandowski now with strikes in the 6th and 7th frame.
Cut the lead to 9.
He was waving it over and it didn't cooperate.
He didn't get his Brooklyn strike, and he left another double wood here.
We got to tell Jerry to cut his hair a little bit because we're missing the shot there. So double again, double wood, double. That's
Double
2 in a
wood on
row.
the other
Double
side.
double wood. Yeah. Well, he knocked it off in the 6th frame. Let's see if he can do it in the 7th. There you go. All right, so Jerry's doing a nice job picking up his spares here, which could very well be the key to this match as we come down the stretch.
Right, he's still up. He's still up at least 9. But Dylon has a double up, so that could change that.
8th frame.
Double wood on the other side
triple
again.
double wood.
He's not leaving himself much.
If we get any more
Easy
sleepers,
spares.
I'm going to take a nap. All right, so one side, the other side, back to the other side again. So if Jerry wins this match, it's going to be because he's the master of chopping down the double wood. And he does. All right, so now has Dylon Ingersoll found something that he can tap into, his knowledge of here at Central Lanes, being a 2-time-a-week league bowler? Is this the point after 2 strikes in 6 and 7 that he takes back this match? Never got it to turn.
Nope, he actually threw that out in the woods.
Yeah.
And it didn't come back.
That's
got that way right of his target.
one of those rare times that we see the head pin still sitting up there.
Yep, he was in a position to take control of this match, and now he needs to make a spare just to stay down 10. Still anybody's match.
And a good spare pickup in the 8th for Dylon Ingersoll.
Now, it'd be interesting if these lanes break down the way he sees them in league, because I would think that they're not. Although we haven't seen any urethane this week, we haven't seen anybody, you know, moving the oil around in an odd pattern because of urethane. They've all used the reactive resin, but I wonder if the breakdown is similar to what he sees in league.
And there's a good strike in the 9th frame for Dylon.
Always important to strike in the 9th frame. That's your builder frame. That's the one that you can get the most pin count off of by carrying it into more strikes in the 10th.
Let's see if Jerry can do the same thing. Yes, he can.
You know what they say, it's better to be lucky. He's carried quite a few shots today. Still up 10.
So if Jerry can start with a couple of strikes, that will pretty much win this. Yeah, I don't think he liked it. I think he was the one that said nope, that you might have heard.
Yep.
We even got the crowd here telling us we got more double wood. Somebody get Jerry a chainsaw. That was where he said nope.
He's been good on that spare, though.
He's gone full Paul Bunyan on all the wood going on here.
Pin count's important. He wants to get as many down as he can. All 10 would be great.
Jerry Lewandowski wins. He will take on our returning champion, Zander Koppenhaver. If Dylon Ingersoll wins, we're going to have a 22-year-old versus an 18-year-old in our championship match.
9.
So the final goes up for Jerry Lewandowski Jr. at 189. Two strikes from Dylon Ingersoll, and he wins it. Strike and a spare means we get the always exciting roll-off.
It would be strike 9.
Strike 9, sorry.
Yeah, he needs that 9 count. But first of all, he needs this one.
He's got it. Still alive, Dylon Ingersoll.
Well, we get an exciting finish here.
Yes, we do. That was his best shot of the day.
Yeah.
So a strike here, and he wins. A less than that,
well,
in a position to have to spare, still gives him a chance at the win.
Well, yep, strike to win, 9, possibility of a tie.
To tie.
8 will lose.
And that's a winner for Dylon Ingersoll. Good come-from-behind victory, and Dylon Ingersoll is going to advance on to our championship match. Those were two of his better shots of the match. Did he know it? Yeah, kind of.
It's like you got to remember how young he is. He's 18 years old.
So Dylon Ingersoll with a 199-189 win over Jerry Lewandowski Jr. It's Dylon and Zander Koppenhaver in our championship match. It is next. It's Zander Koppenhaver and Dylon Ingersoll in our championship match. And if you want to feel old, because I do, it is 22 years old versus 18 years old. And if you want to feel like this future of the sport is in great hands, it sure is. It doesn't make me feel any less old. So. But these are two bright young bowling stars and a chance to claim a Beat the Champ title here today in Salamanca. Dylon Ingersoll gets us started and leaves a lot of wood over there on the right-hand side.
I think we got a little difference in experience here, and you did mention that they really went the opposite way, where Dylon switched from a two-hander to throwing it full, and Zander did the opposite.
Yep, one went 2-1, the other went 1-2.
That's right. But
that's a good spare pickup in the first frame for Dylon. And now we get our first look this week at the 22-year-old from Bradford, Pennsylvania, Zander Koppenhaver. Has been very impressive in winning 2 weeks in a row. This is his third show. He's actually won 4 straight matches, 2 straight weeks. And we have been very impressed by what we have seen. He's been able to put some good scores up, a couple of 230s. He's also been able to sort of battle his way when the scores weren't there. And what we haven't seen him do yet is try to make a 7-10 split.
made a good shot. Bad pin collision. He's in a little deeper. Just hits a little.
The pins hit each
little
other
flat.
and prevented them from taking the corners out.
Yep, could have been one or the other.
So Zander will grab the 10 pin and he'll start with an open, which is certainly not a deterrent to victory. Shoot, Dylon had 2 opens in the last match with the 199-189 win over Jerry Lewandowski.
He's still smiling, so
He
that's
is still
important.
smiling.
I think they're chirping at each other. That's what's going on over there.
Well, they're Dylon's from Salamanca, Zander's from Bradford. That's 30 minutes away. I don't know how much they bowled against each other. I don't think they bowl in the same leagues. But there's a connection of sort of who they are and their age and where they are, and and there's got to be some camaraderie that comes out of that. All right, that's Zander's first battle with the 10 pin. If you watched last week, he had a lot of battles with the 10 pin.
Excellent spare. Well, he's done what he could. He's put it in the pocket both times. He's a true shot maker, as you can tell by the fact that he rarely misses the pocket.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have been very impressed. Now, this is the 5th time we have had a chance to see Zander bowl, and I know you have been really, really impressed. And I think we're starting to warm up to Dylon has got a lot of talent, still kind of working his way through it a little bit.
Oh, these are both really great, polite young gentlemen. They spoke to us in depth about their games, and they just are very classy young men.
Looking for the spare in the 3rd frame, and second frame rather, and Dylon gets it. 18 years old from right here in Salamanca. And again, to reinforce what we've said earlier, bowls 2 nights a week here in leagues at Central Lane. So there's some familiarity for him with this place and the conditions and the wood and the quirkiness of lanes 7 and 8.
Still looking for his first pocket hit. That was a little high. That wasn't your true 9-pin tap. Yep, that could have easily been a 4-9. That one was a little bit high, as you can see. That was in no danger of touching the 9-pin, where we've seen it a lot closer to that 9-pin.
And it's 3 straight spares to open it up for Dylon Ingersoll. Zander Koppenhaver, 22 years old with a 230 average. He's student teaching right now with the goals to make that his profession moving forward. 12 career 300 games, a high 831 series. And has already had some nice achievements. 2 times he was second in a Pennsylvania State all-event tournament.
There it goes.
I think he found his groove a little bit there.
Still made him guess the very last second that he got that a little further to the right, a little further down the lane.
And the interesting backstory for Zander was he was a pretty good traditional one-handed bowler, and I think he has aspirations to bowl at a tournament level, and he just felt like he couldn't compete with the bigger, stronger two-handers and their ability to throw the ball so much harder. So he junked everything, started over, relearned how to throw a bowling ball with 2 hands, and after a couple of years of struggling has found a groove.
Yeah, I don't think he loved that shot. I think he thought he missed it. Watch his reaction. But, you know, he kind of feel like it's a payback for some of those, for a pocket 710 and a ring 10. So you take them where you can get them. So that was a double for him, and that ties this match back up again.
And that's 2 in a row, a double for, correction, that is Dylon Ingersoll. That is his first strike of this match here in the 4th frame. As Zander looks on, and you may have noticed in our last 2 matches, Zander was sitting right at that table to the right of the scoreboard, and you could just tell he was intently watching how the guys were playing it. Right where that gentleman is sitting was where Zander was sitting before, was watching everyone.
Like he said, watch and learn.
There's a good pocket hit, and that's a double for Dylon Ingersoll.
We've got a match here.
Yes, we do. The young guns are putting on a fight here, putting on a show. Our first week here at Central Lanes in Salamanca, Zander was in our first match, and he won 3 straight matches, had a couple of 230s to become the Beat the Champ winner, and then last week, as he let everybody come to him, kind of eked out a 204 to 191 win over Jamie Willie that allowed him to advance on to here. And with a win here today, he will have 3 straight victories, which moves him into tie for the 2nd longest winning streak we had here on the show.
Yeah, that was one of the first bad shots I think he's truly thrown.
But he saves it.
Excellent spare.
So he'll slide over to lane 7 for frame number 6 of this match.
I think as we've seen the scores this week, the lanes are definitely a little more challenging.
Have you noticed that either of these guys has either an advantage or a disadvantage on one lane over the other?
No, I think they're playing, they seem like they're playing fairly true.
Well, more 10-pin tension for Zander Koppenhaver.
Yeah, this really is a matter of carry here.
So it's a spare for Zander Koppenhaver. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Who's going to be our Beat the Champ winner? We'll find out when you return right after this.
From the most humble of beginnings to the pinnacle, dreams can come true through hard work, demanding excellence, and conquering challenges. There will be celebrations, along with the unending quest for innovation. Nothing is impossible. Storm.
12X Tech Bowling Supplies is committed to continuing the decades-long tradition of excellence established by the DeSanto family. We are the ultimate destination for customer service, experience, and product variety. We offer an extensive inventory of balls, bags, shoes, and accessories. Our unique fitting and drilling process, combined with our in-house lane, ensures a perfect fit every time. With a range of repair and maintenance services, we can help keep your gear performing at its best. Consult our team today at 1000 Highland Drive in the J. Scuddy South Plaza, conveniently located off of 390 in Henrietta.
From the most humble of beginnings to the pinnacle, dreams can come true. Through hard work, demanding excellence, and conquering challenges, there will be celebrations, along with the unending quest for innovation. Nothing is impossible. Storm.
Eighth frame now for Zander Koppenhaver. He had a spare in the 7th.
We have a 6-pin match.
And there's a first strike since the 4th frame for Zander.
And in a great spot.
While we were gone, Dylon Ingersoll had to work hard for a couple of spares. One was a 1-2-8-10 and the other was a 1-3-6. So now credit to him for making 2 tough spares, but what's been wrong on the first ball to leave those spares?
Yeah, he made a few bad shots. Definitely good cover on picking those up, but he lost some count there too, which enabled this match to get a little closer. Better shot there.
Much better shot. 8th frame strike for Dylon Ingersoll.
Now we're talking about a fight to the end here. We only have 2 frames left, and we have a 6-pin match. Both guys with strikes up.
So a crucial part of the match here. Last match came right down to the end for Dylon. He was able to get those strikes in the 9th and 10th frames and to clinch the win. Can he do it again? 9th frame. There's another strike. Seems to save his best for last. Our host center for Beat the Champ, presented by Storm, is Central Lanes, and you can follow them on Facebook at the new Central Lanes. They are just one of our many great host centers. And if you want details on how you can be a part of Beat the Champ, just stop in at any of our host centers and ask them, how can I be on the show? And we could be seeing you here on the lanes. 9th frame now for Zander, trying to win for the 3rd straight week. Oof. Not making it easy.
Zander has run into a little bad ball reaction. Wasn't bad enough for him to make a change, but...
So an open at a critical time in the 9th frame for Zander Koppenhaver. In what has already been a very tight match with Dylon Ingersoll working off a double. Zander's going to have to finish strong here if he wants to win for the 3rd straight week.
He's going to need all 3 just for a prayer.
10 pin won't go down. Yeah, that look on your face says a lot. Meanwhile, Dylon Ingersoll just cool and calm sitting back there. So right now the advantage has swung back to Dylon Ingersoll. And I think we might look back at some of those saves that he made as being the reason why.
Yeah, well, he made some great spares to keep himself in the game. There's your urethane ball. He took it out just to test it.
So Zander finishes at 181. And Dylon Ingersoll just needs to be smart here.
I mean, here's the thing with Dylon. Dylon is such a good bowler that he made such good shots that he made a ball that probably wasn't right for the condition seem okay. The better choice for him would have been the urethane ball, a little straighter.
Nobody's making it easy, but it doesn't matter because that is enough to clinch the win for Dylon Ingersoll. The 18-year-old from right here in Salamanca, New York, is your Beat the Champ winner, and he gets to come back again next week. And we'll talk a little more about how this all happened and get you ready for next week's show when Sue and I return to Central Lanes in Salamanca, New York. It's Beat the Champ, presented by Storm.
The Western New York area has long been considered one of the best anywhere for the sport of bowling.
And no matter where you live, we have lanes nearby.
For top competition,
Fun with family and friends.
Great food and drink, or just a night out, we got you.
We are
The bowling proprietors.
of Western New York.
Stop in and enjoy our sport today.
I'm Paul Peck.
And I'm Sue Nawojski. We want to see you out here bowling for the top spot on Beat the Champ.
So get to any of our great host centers and get the details on how you can be a part of the show and be our next winner.
And don't miss any of the action here on MSG every week.
Yeah, so check out the show next week or get out there and qualify and be our Beat the Champ winner. Beat the Champ is sponsored by Storm, the Bowlers Company, and by the Bowling Proprietors Association of Western New York. Stop in and enjoy our sport today. Well, it wasn't easy for this young man, but a 206-181 victory makes Dylon Ingersoll our Beat the Champ winner. You were impressed by some of the shots he pulled off.
Well, it was mostly about the spares he pulled off, and that's just the important thing. When you can't strike, you have to make those spares. Your coaches tell you that, your parents tell you that, and this is a perfect example of why you make your spares.
All right, so Sue is telling you that now, too. How often have you heard people tell you make your spares?
My whole life. My whole entire life.
How'd you do it?
Just trying to stay calm under pressure. All the practice I put in every day. It's not easy, but I did it.
Hey, you're an 18-year-old kid. You are a Beat the Champ winner. You have just pulled off a pretty cool victory on TV. What's all that feel like?
Oh, it feels wonderful. I will say that was lucky, and I want to give Zander a shout-out because I think he's one of the best bowlers in our area. I do really think that. To win against him is, I think, a really big accomplishment for me, and to do it on Beat the Champ, I think is even better.
All right, well, I have the feeling Dylon and Zander are going to see each other on the lanes down the road. We know we're going to see him again next week because he is our Beat the Champ winner. He's back next week. We'll see you then on Beat the Champ, presented by Storm.